Hello, friends. How are you on this beautiful Sunday? All right, it's Palm Sunday, and I decorated our church. I made a bunch of stuff yesterday, Saturday, took it over, installed it at the church for today's services, and you probably saw some photos on Facebook. If you haven't, go over to my Facebook page and check it out. Really turned out pretty. And so I had all this leftover stuff here, and so I decided to make another one today. So I'm out in the studio, and I just want to give you, show you what I made. There's one almost just like this at the church. It's slightly different. There's more yellow in the one I made here, but let me turn the camera around. Okay, so here's where we started. These are the containers. I put a spray in the French urn, and that's a small loamy bowl that I put a centerpiece in. And I bought a palm that I put in a corner in the TV area over at the church. Put it in a pretty ceramic planter. And these are the greens. That is some palmetto, that's cardboard palm, and those are just palm fronds that I ordered. And I used some leather, and that's pre-soaked oasis in a bar that I built a spray on for a table. And just some leather and miscellaneous greenery that I had left over in the cooler. And that's some lily grass that I incorporated. And these are small monstera leaves, and I bought one bunch, and I ended up using all of them. And in my arrangements, I did incorporate some white florals as well. I kept it white and green, but I put some hydrangea, baby's breath, some spray roses. You'll see in a little bit, but I did put a little bit of white in there. And out here in the workshop, I have some variegated ginger leaves, some sago palm, and that is a Chinese fan palm that I cut down into those circle shapes. All right, so you can see I've got the French urn packed with the brick of Oasis pre-soaked foam, and I cut down the palm fronds like I'm showing right now to kind of clean up those ends. I wanted a more of a clean shape there, and you can get that really easy by just cutting your palm frond down. Okay, so I put in all of the, a lot of the palm, and that is the cardboard palm now that I'm adding. And those things, I don't know if you've ever cut those out of your garden or off your property, but I had to wash them thoroughly. I have a whole area in my shop where I had to take them, lay them flat, and scrub them with a wash rag. And then I took my floral knife and I scraped all the thorns off of it. They are quite thorny, and I wore garden gloves while I did that. So, and there's some monstera leaves that I'm going to cut down and use now in the front. But the cardboard palm is beautiful to use in arrangements, and I use it all the time. But it does take some prep if you are cutting it fresh out of your garden. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking just the tip of a palm frond and I am bending it to make the stem, to loosen up the fibers in the stem, make it a little more malleable, so I'll get that droop. Because what I want to do is I want to dress the edge of the container and have that droop over the side of the urn. Okay, so I changed the camera angle and now you can see the Monstera leaves and the Solidago and the cut palm, the sago palm, and here I am looking at my ginger, and I was going to put the whole leaf in, but you can see as I'm holding it in place, it was too large, and the variegated color really catches your eye amongst all of that sea of dark green, so it ends up being a real focal point. So I decided to bend it over. Now the technique that I find that works best with ginger is cold glue, and I use Oasis cold glue. I know there's lots of different ways you can bend your leaves. I just feel like the cold glue works the best. The wiring and things like that, my leaves tend to rip and tear, and I just like the glue better. It takes a little bit more time because you got to sit there and hold it while it dries, but it holds like a charm once it dries, and there's no damage to your leaf at all. And there I'm placing it right up underneath the Monstera leaf, and it just gives such a beautiful softness. Look at that, just that nice curvature. It's a very nice detail right under that Monstera leaf. Now here I am wire and taping my stem to this piece of ginger. I take an 18 gauge cut wire and I just put it right through the stem, bend it down, and then I use some stem tape to wrap the wire to the stem. Sometimes with this ginger, when you pull it from the mother stem in the center, the pieces can be weak because it's kind of a hollowed out U shape of the stem. Sometimes they're nice and firm, and sometimes they're not. So if they're not, the wire and tape method just shores them up and makes them real sturdy to go down in your foam. And I'm using some of the larger full-size ginger leaves in the background to kind of bring the color throughout the whole arrangement. So I've got, as I came to the front, I've got the leaves curled over, and then in the back you can see I've got several full ginger without being bent over. Now I've just brought in some flowers that I've decided to use. You certainly don't have to use flowers. Our particular church does not care. They did not have one preference one way or the other whether I used flowers or not in the Palm Sunday arrangements. So as I was working on them, I really felt like it needed something a little bit more to draw your eyes center. There's lots of ways you can create a focal point with just greenery. I just decided to use the white florals because it was okay with our pastor. He didn't care. So I'm using a hydrangea there, and I've got these beautiful white spray roses. They've really been sitting in water for a little bit, so they've opened to a beautiful kind of garden style rose. And so I think they are going to make a lovely center focal point to this large spray arrangement. So I've got most of the focal flowers in place the way I like them. And now I'm adding in some fill. And the fill flowers that I used here are Solidago, which is the yellow wispy fill, and some baby's breath. And I'm just kind of going around looking for dark spots and, empty places within that kind of focal pane. And that's like million stars. Sometimes in my baby's breath, I get million stars mixed in there with it. And And so that was in there. It's just got a different texture, which I really like. So I'm incorporating that as well. But I'm going around just filling in little spots just to kind of broaden out that window pane where your eye is going to focus in the center of this arrangement. This is, I don't know if you can tell from the video, but this is a large arrangement. It probably would sell for over, between $200 and $300 retail if I made it and sold it in the shop. I haven't really priced out all the stems because, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the stems I actually foraged from my own property, so they were free. So of course I don't have to pay anything. It's the best kind, right? So I was able to make this for the church very inexpensively. But if you retail it out to sell, it would be quite expensive because of the size. There's a lot of stems in this particular spray. But I am just putting that Solidago and that Baby's Breath in all those side nooks and crannies to just kind of give some color and depth and texture all throughout the arrangement. All right, now we're looking at the back of the arrangement, and you can see I've used one of the cut Chinese fan palms to kind of back my arrangement. And I just love this this palm. I'm gonna start using it more, I think, in my arrangements. But I took it, and I have a monster Chinese palm tree in my yard, and I cut this down. This is probably cut down to 40% of what the original palm leaf looked like. And you can really do any shape you want. I kind of did like a spade shape with it. And it's just got this really free organic flow to it. I just think it's beautiful. And then I'm putting some Baby's Breath and Solidago right down at the base of it. And I think it just brings a whole different texture to the back side, which really nobody's going to see the back, which is why I've got it kind of flat like that. But if they do peek and see the back, they'll be delighted because there's this gorgeous Chinese fan palm frond back there. So don't ignore the back of your arrangements, even if they're meant to be one-sided. You still have to finish out the back, and I like to put a few nice elements back there. And oh yes, we're going to use a little bit of glitter. I am a glitter girl, and I love a little bit of sparkle and shine wherever I can sneak it in. So I just just very lightly sprinkled it right on the white blooms. I did not put it on the green. I used Leaf Shine on all the greenery, and then I used Crowning Glory, which is a floral sealant, and then I sprinkled the glitter right into the wet Crowning Glory. And there's that gorgeous fan palm back there. Oh, it's so pretty. The camera doesn't do it justice, y'all. It really doesn't. It's just it's a beautiful element in this arrangement. And here we are at the church. That is the tabletop spray. Remember at the beginning of the video, I showed you the pre-soaked Oasis foam, the bricks of foam. Well, that's what I made in that foam. And it is a very large arrangement. It's probably 3 feet, maybe 3.5 feet wide from tip to tip. And this one has some blue thistle, and it's got some seeded eucalyptus in it. It's got some baby blue eucalyptus, you can see there. And all the other elements are about the same. The ginger, the cardboard palm, the regular palm fronds. And there's the cardboard palm, and there's the sago palm. Boy, sago palm will bite you. It's got prickly stem and prickly little leaves. You have to be careful with a lot of Florida palms. They will bite you. Here's where I ended up putting the palm tree. And I did stick a couple of palmetto branches, or palm fronds down there in the dirt. And you can see a piece of cardboard palm frond down there. I just stuck it right down in the dirt to kind of dress the bottom. And remember the little loamy dish at the beginning of the video? Well, here is the centerpiece we ended up doing in that loamy dish. It's perfect scale for this drum table that sits between these two chairs. And I did put a little glitter on it, just a little bit. And you can see as I back out how it's just the perfect scale for that space. And lastly, here is the initial spray that I made in the French urn. All the same elements as the second one I designed, except for the yellow Solidago. I did not put Solidago in this one. This one was more pure white. It was just white and green. The only hint of yellow is in that variegated ginger. I hope everybody has a blessed Holy Week, and I'll see you in the next video.